I'm just refreshing just to see what comes up. It says waiting. Alright, mine is good.
No,
I'm just waiting to see if yours loads up.
hopefully we are live. You're good?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be on a slight delay. Also, I'm using my fucking mobile data instead of use that. Professional.
And you are good too, so I think we're good to
You're
go.
good, yeah. Alright then, well, thank you very much for joining us on Marvel Mad as well as Thwip Media. We're having a live stream and literally just talking about all things Marvel sort of thing. So, yes, I'd also like to say thank you very much for 100 subscribers on Marvel Mad because it was absolutely fantastic. I couldn't have asked anything for a better audience than that lot. So, yes, thank you very much. I'll hand it over to our good friend and colleague on Thwip Media, Nate.
Thank you for the intro. So, thank you anyone that's watching. I see I got one comment here from young Alex. Thank you for joining.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so this stream's just going to be about talking about the evolvement of the MCU and reviewing Loki Season 2 and the Marvels, and then talking about some trailers that have come out since our last talk. I just want to hit you with an icebreaker question. I thought it'd be a fun thing to do. So I created a list of questions just to kind of like do an intro kind of thing. So I'll just choose one. Okay. You are given the opportunity to adapt the origin project for a Marvel hero that has not been introduced into the MCU yet. Who are you choosing, and what format will you choose? From a film, series, or special presentation?
Oh, Jesus wept. Well, my first thought goes to me, my boy,
Punisher.
Punisher. I know he's technically sort of been in it from the Netflix series, so I'd probably introduce him into a Disney Plus series and have probably a similar sort of storyline from what I had from the Netflix, but also throw in a bit of like the Russian and is it Jigsaw, I think it is.
Jigsaw, yeah.
From the original film, yeah, that I liked. That's what I'd throw in.
Nice.
Myself.
For me, I would personally do a Silver Surfer special presentation. Silver Surfer is one of those characters that has always been interesting to me. I do actually have something. I don't know if you're going to see it if you have the tab open for my stream. I made a mock-up, you know, like last time we did this, I had that X-Men thing I made with the whole franchise. So I had like a Silver Surfer presentation one a while ago. So I'll switch the screen to that for everyone watching. So I don't know if you can see it right now, but yeah, everyone watching will see it, but I created this, I think it was last summer, but I think it would be really cool to have a Silver Surfer special presentation. It doesn't need to be a movie. The fact that like his origin's like super fast too, like I don't know if you've seen it, but the Silver Surfer animated series. So the very first episode for that would be the perfect template for this special presentation, where like you have Zen-La, you have Norrin Radd, who's just living his normal life, and then Galactus shows up and he threatens to destroy the planet, but Norrin Radd sacrifices himself in service of Galactus to save Zen-La and the woman he loves. So I thought that would be a really cool setup for his future in the MCU. And the special presentation format just fits because it's a really like fast origin. It doesn't need to be like drawn out over 2 hours.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Which is why I'm a fan of that format for like Werewolf by Night. Just sticking it to like 1 hour, that was perfect for that character. So, yeah, Silver Surfer would be the one I would want to adapt.
Yeah, can't blame you there, my friend. Cannot be there at all.
All right.
Right.
So, first topic, we're going to be talking about the Variety article. It literally had just released after we finished our last X-Men stream.
Yeah.
I noticed it right after we hit done on that. So, it's been sitting there for a while, but it's going to be exciting to dive into that because a lot of stuff.
Oh, definitely. I've got loads of notes of what's said in here and what's going to be causing Marvel just so many problems and issues, sort of thing like that. I'll let you carry on then, and we'll get started if you want.
All right. So the first point I have for this is the Jonathan Majors situation. So Jonathan Majors, who plays King the Conqueror, is going on trial at the end of the month for an incident that happened back in March between him and his girlfriend. I'm not going to get...
I've read somewhere it's been multiple incidents now, isn't it, from
various
different people as well.
Yeah. So it's not looking good for him. The Marvel executives are concerned about the impact on his reputation and the potential for him to lose that case, which is going to cause a huge narrative shift for the MCU if the trial goes south and the Kang dynasty is in jeopardy. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
After reading all that, seeing all the stuff that's coming out, it's just like, oh my lord, why? You're such a big actor. Why mess it up with doing something stupid like this? It's just so frustrating that he could have years, and he's just gone and messed it all up now. I know there was the similar sort of problem with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, where Disney just, as soon as that happened, they just went, seen a bit of Johnny, done. Even though he got proven that he wasn't. I seem like it's Marvel's holding back a bit now and going, well, we'll actually wait until the trial and see what happens, and then it'll go from there, sort of thing. But they're playing a dangerous game doing that. You're waiting all this long to mess around doing that. Nah, not when everybody else was just getting rid of him.
Yeah.
And it's like,
because
we won't be getting rid of him if there's not evidence and stuff behind it.
Yeah, because Quantumania was, other than Loki Season 1, people were really excited when he popped up as He Who Remains in Loki Season 1, oh yeah, Kang is coming. And then he showed up as the main villain in Quantumania, and that was one of the positives from the movie, that everyone agreed on, that he was really, really good. And then a month later, we hear about this, and we're like, what the heck? We had something here. And, we still don't know if it's entirely true, but, he was at the height of his career when this was happening. And ever since then, he hasn't appeared in a single thing except Loki Season 2, which was filmed before that had happened. And
they had, it was in Rocky, weren't it? Oh, no, Creed, sorry.
3.
Creed 4,
yeah.
or 3, that was it. It was, by the sounds of what I could hear in it, that people like the Creed film, it was brilliant in it. It's just...
So, it's a sad situation for him, but obviously Marvel Studios has a lot to adapt to if he ends up going in a different direction. So, they have discussed backup plans, including shifting to another character like Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
I freaked out when I saw that. This would be a huge, huge deal if they completely scrap Kang and just bring in Doctor Doom for the finale of the multiverse saga. Personally, I would have loved to see Doom take over, but I still want to see the Kang storyline finish because it's been set up since Phase 4, and it deserves to be finished. If you really... Because Quantumania establishes every variant looks like Jonathan Majors.
This is what I'm going to say, because when I was writing down my notes, they're not... Oh, pardon me. They're not bothered about just recasting somebody like they did with Rhodey.
Yeah.
And that line he said in, I think it was Iron Man 2, weren't it? Where he goes to Tony, he's like, look, I'm here, let's just deal with it. That was literally a direct hint to the audience saying, look, we've changed actor, you just get on with it, sort of thing. So they're not scared to recast somebody, sort of thing. So,
But Rhodey's
I
also
know
a
they have.
side character who, at the time, didn't have a
Yeah.
huge impact, while Kang is the big bad for this saga. And,
Yeah.
like, you could recast, but then you'd have that kind of hole in the audience where they're like, wait, he looked like this, like, a few movies ago. Why does he look like this now? So you don't have the same kind of connective tissue between each project if you have, like, a different actor playing for the rest of it. But
And they
like,
just use that as well, just to beat the film with a stick, and just go, well, it's not as good because it's not had that actor in, or this or the other sort. So it's
Yeah.
like they are stuck between a rock and a hard place with all the things that's going off with him.
yeah, so I think overall, I want to see the Kang storyline finish. I feel like if they introduce Doctor Doom, it's going to feel super, super rushed. Doom's a character you need to build up
massively.
over time. Like, he's, like I said this in a video I made, young Alex in the comments knows this, why Doctor Doom is Marvel's greatest villain. So he deserves the time to be fleshed out and then have his time to shine as the big bad in a movie event. But
100%.
maybe I thought about this. Doctor Doom, if they do the reboot, he could be the first big bad they go against.
That would be nice. Because is Fantastic Four's not until, what, 2025 now?
Yeah.
Something like that. So...
But even he's not even talked about showing up in it. Like, it's all about Galactus
No,
being
yeah,
in
that's
it.
true.
Like, I'm sure he'll
It's a bit
appear,
frustrating.
but he's not going to
Yeah.
be the villain, I think.
No. I'd love it. It's like a mole man or some stuff like that. That would be brilliant.
Mole Man. I actually created, I don't know if you call it fan fiction, but it was like a rough idea of what I would want for, like, a Fantastic Four movie, and Mole Man was the one that showed up at the very end. And then it's like the team goes in to fight him, and then that's how the movie ends. It's kind of like The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, with Rhino coming in.
With Rhino. Like, you get that hero shot where they're all charging in the battle, and Mole Man's, like, on the other side of it. I thought that would be a fun way to end the movie, but...
Yeah, that would be quite good. I quite like that.
In addition to the Doctor Doom stuff, we have a huge thing that came out, I believe it was a week ago. Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
And
I forgot about that.
was supposed to be directing Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, has left the project.
Yeah, showing more hints now that Kang just literally it's done.
It's either that, so I was talking to my dad about this, and he kind of, like, he brought up a good point, so I didn't think of this at all. The articles say Destin Daniel Cretton leaves Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Is he leaving Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, or is he leaving Avengers 5? Because they could be changing the title. They could be changing the title, or he's just leaving the project altogether.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't think of that. I did read somewhere that he's leaving that film, but he's still part of the Marvel family or something like that. So they're still welcoming him in, and I think he's still part of another project somewhere down the line.
Yeah, he's doing Wonder
but he's
Man.
still... Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But he's still under the umbrella sort of thing. So it's not like he's gone nastily or anything like that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's not like he did anything bad. I think it's because they're completely changing how Avengers 5 is going to work out. Because...
Yeah, I think they're going to go into a different direction by the sounds of it. Because it's not looking good. It really ain't.
Kang's future's in jeopardy right now, and, like, I'm sure they're still going to build up to Secret Wars, but Avengers 5 at this point looks super questionable with what storyline they're actually going to go for that.
It's very true, yeah. Cool, wait.
So I have a comment from young Alex here. Talk about Secret Wars 1 and 2, what you guys expecting regardless of what Marvel do. I have in those two movies. They're going to make banks. Yeah, Secret Wars is going to make a lot of money. Maybe we can talk about that more specifically
100%.
in another stream, but yeah, that's... I still think that's the ultimate end game for those. Like, that's the ideal end game for the multiverse saga. I don't think they can end it any other way
Oh yeah,
than
massively.
doing Secret Wars. The next point
Yeah, that's true.
is the content overload and quality issues that have happened in the MCU recently. So the
Got
articles,
some save wavelength here.
yeah. So the article suggests that Marvel's troubles stem from the ambitious plan to provide a continuous stream of interconnected content for Disney Plus, resulting in a flood of superhero content. So 2022 was packed with stuff. Like, you can definitely see how people would have been tired of like MCU content, because just that year alone, we had so much. Like, we had Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Doctor Strange 2. What else came out last year for movies? Black Panther. Like, there was so much coming out, and like, there's no surprise that COVID probably has the blame for that. Like, they had so much in production,
massively.
and then because of COVID, they had to delay so much, and then they had a backlog of content they just have to fit in somewhere. But when you get to that point, it's like you have so many random storylines that are like back to back with each other. Like, you had Moon Knight, which is like a very grounded story, and then you had Doctor Strange right after that, which is the multiverse. So you're like, wait, but what does this tie into? Like, we were so used to before everything connecting to the next project one after the other, and now
It's literally
everything's
what I've
super
said in one of our
random.
videos as well. Because I was like, that's what, when it first Marvel come out and did all these films, I loved it where it just went bang, 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 bang,
Yeah.
connected to that, connected to that. But now, it's just, the perfect point was Loki, no, Ant-Man, where you had the end of Victor Timely and Loki seeing them, and then the next film was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I was like, well, you've got to wait all that time to go and see Loki season 2. So you're looking forward to that, and you're just going to wait, and you're going to probably forget about it halfway down the line as well. So it's
Yeah.
like,
The other one is Shang-Chi. The post-credit scene for that, him and Katie are talking to Banner and Captain Marvel about something going on with the Ten Rings, and Banner says, "Welcome to the party," or something like that.
because he's got a signal into it from
Yeah,
the
there's
rings
like a
as well.
signal coming off of the bands, and he just says to be ready. It's been almost 3 years, and nothing's come out of that.
Exactly.
So
You still got like everybody keeps on going on about the Celestial in the water.
yeah, that's something a lot
Nobody
of people
said
complain
anything about it at all. I know there's supposed to be something going on about it with, was it
Captain America.
the new film?
Yeah.
Where they're gonna, is it protect it, or people are trying to mine it or stuff like that?
Yeah. So the rumor is that it's made out of adamantium, which is the metal that makes up Wolverine's skeleton. So I think that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, they've left so many open ends just sitting there, and they haven't tied them together just because of the amount of content they've been releasing constantly. I can definitely see why people are tired of it at this point. I personally, like, as much as I enjoyed like lots of Marvel content, there was a certain point where it's like, okay, let's pump the brakes. Like, we got too much going on right now.
You just need to. Yeah.
Yeah, and focus more on quality than quantity.
I think that's why, when I read something as well, when I was making my notes, just go wait a minute. That's why I read in my notes that next year the only big thing that's going off with the MCU is Deadpool.
Yeah,
I know you've
that's
got
literally
obviously
it.
Echo.
Yeah,
So you've got Echo. You've got obviously Mad and Thwip. Obviously that's Sony.
Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven, don't even get me started on Kraven. Jesus wept. Venom as well. I think Venom 3 the end of next year.
Right, as of now, yeah. That's the latest one. So I could see that one maybe getting delayed, but yeah, I think it's November next year.
Yeah, but I say that the only big MCU technically one is not Venom, Deadpool. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it shows that they're actually going to actually on. There's stuff not working out. Like I put down on my notes about Blade. How many times has that been pushed back, sort of thing. I can't wait to see that. I think that'd be brilliant. But I think when I read the notes, they've gone through like 2 different directors, 5 writers, and I think they've dropped the budget down now to what,
Yeah, the
100
budget
million.
dropped a ton. It's like under 100 million now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, it shows you they're going in a different direction because they know they need to put more in quality and how they're doing things better, sort of thing, than just just pump another one out, pump another one out. It's just frustrating.
The other thing with like the quality of content is, we're gonna talk about this more later, but the Marvels had a lot of reshoots, and it had a 79% drop in box office for the second weekend it was open, which is the worst in comic book movie history. Like, that's worse than Morbius. Worse than, like, Four Stick. And we don't talk about that movie at all.
No.
So that's a huge deal for the MCU, which is one of the, if not the biggest, like, entertainment franchise of all time. That's massive.
It didn't deserve that. But we'll talk about that later,
Yeah.
but it did not deserve that at all.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things they need to restructure for what they're doing for releasing, and just, you know, like the amount of time they're putting into these projects, because it seems like a lot of them are being rushed with production, and I'm going to get into it now, but visual effects and production challenges.
Oh, Jesus.
So Marvel's VFX battalion, responsible for visual effects, is struggling to keep pace with the numerous productions they're being hired to work on, and lots of content being produced. They lock these like pieces of content in like release dates. Like every time they have a Comic-Con or something like that, they say this movie is coming out specifically at this date. In this day and age, that doesn't work. Like, because of COVID, like things are getting constantly delayed. Like, you can't have a set release date anymore. You have to kind of play it out by how the production's going. Like, they just have to figure that out. So the VFX teams are like in shambles trying to meet those deadlines like that they put in place. So they're struggling to get that done in time, and then they, like, as soon as they're done that project, they're moving into the other one. So it's like they have no time to actually do anything.
Well, it's like it shows you with She-Hulk and Secret Invasion. Some of the VFX in that, Jesus wept.
Yeah.
I was alright with some of it, but then some of the other stuff, it's just like
the whole Super Skrull fight. That's an example of like,
massively
massive rushed VFX. Like, that's maybe some of the worst, like, CGI in the MCU for me.
Yeah, just a bit. It's just so frustrating. That deserved a lot more. And then it's like the Drax are.
Yeah, my God. But a massive complaint from Quantumania was the CGI in it. And that had been noted, leading to a subsequent vote by VFX workers to unionize. So that's huge.
Which
for
can't
Marvel
blame
now.
them.
Yeah. Like, good on them, but that's really not good for Marvel Studios.
Well, no, they'll learn one way or the other. They've got to give them a break. They've got to
they have lives.
Team it out a bit, sort of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Victoria Alonso, who was the head of post-production, VFX and animation, was fired back in March because of quality control. That was after Quantumania, so you see that complaint from basically everyone seeing it, that the CGI was not great, and that had been, you know, like, there's other projects before that that had complaints, like She-Hulk and, you know, like other projects like that, and then she was fired. So you get rid of that,
even though with,
and then
even with them being fired, it still didn't really improve by the end. Well, near the end of the year, that sort of thing. Like, to me, in the Marvels, I had no complaints about the visual effects. I didn't see anything that I could really point to. I thought it was pretty alright myself. But again, we can deep dive into that later on.
Yeah. So yeah, VFX and quality control are a huge thing for Marvel Studios to kind of work on, so I'd be interested to see what they do for that. I just see another comment.
Yeah.
Is Kevin Feige's time leading Marvel coming to an end? If so, who would replace him?
Myself, no.
I think after Secret Wars, I think he's done.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Damn.
because that's the culmination of his career. He's worked on every single Marvel production since the first X-Men in 2000. So I think that's going to be why he wants all the original characters to come back, because this is what he's been building up to. And I think that's going to be the perfect thing for him to say, after this, I'm done. I'm going to pass it on to someone else to do the reboot or whatever else they're doing. And this is my legacy now. I have the Infinity Saga and the Multiverse Saga under my name. I'm good. Someone else can do it from here.
Damn. Who would you have there? Because myself, I can't even think of it. Unless you're having somebody that's worked extensively from the comics and was just a part of Marvel that side, and you bring him across like that, that's the only sort of person I could think of. But I wouldn't even know anybody in Marvel deep depth like that to come across.
Yeah, I could see him passing it on to maybe Louis Despacito, who's an executive producer. He's like Kevin's right-hand man. I could see maybe him.
Okay.
Or you kind of do what DC did with James Gunn, and you just get a creative mind to be in control of all of that, and maybe, like direct and write a few projects too. I don't know specifically who I would choose, but I'm sure a lot of people would say the Russo brothers, but
Yeah.
I can't see them agreeing to that.
Nah, I think they was done after the Avengers.
Yeah.
That was them done sort of thing. But again, if he was doing if this happened after the Avengers, and Kevin Feige was going to say, yeah, he's done from then, I'd gladly tell them to go on here. Here's the baby, and you take it forward, sort of thing. But it's too late now.
Yeah. The next big thing is script development and project cancellations. So the article points to issues in script development, with She-Hulk cited as an example where VFX problems were attributed to rushed script changes. Kevin Feige is reportedly canceling projects and scripts that aren't working, citing the example of the troubled Blade reboot. So everything's running through him, but when he sees a problem, he's saying, you know what, redo it.
But you can't blame him. But you've got to see he might have too much going on, because if everything's running through him, this is what I've put down. If everything's running through him, surely he's got to be overloaded. You can't literally have hands in all these pies, like the series, the film. I think is he like guys thinking the X-Men '97 and the Spider-Man animation as well. Now, it's got to be well overloaded with something doing like that.
But also, this is an example of them greenlighting too many projects at the same time. That doesn't fit into the overall narrative.
Yeah.
Because the whole saga is the multiverse. Then you have projects like Blade, you have Echo, you have Daredevil Born Again, and that doesn't fit into the multiverse in any way. You'd have to do something really crazy with those characters to fit it in, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah. But this is what I put down on my notes as well, that they're I think the Echo's the first one, whereas it's not going to be called Marvel Studios anymore. It's going to be Marvel Spotlighter.
Yeah, it's going to be a new format, like the special presentation, where it's on its own.
Yeah, and it's going to be highlighting more grounded characters like your Echo and your Daredevil and stuff like that, which does make sense. Like they were saying, I think it was in this article or another article, where they're going to try and have it as more a seasonal thing, and getting directors and production people that actually work on longer seasons, so not just all cramming it into one season. So that'll probably help really, and it's another direction that you didn't really think the MCU was going to go to.
Yeah, like the directors of Loki Season 2, who did a really good job, are the ones that are doing Daredevil Born Again now. So that gives me a massive amount of faith in them for crafting a really good Daredevil series. So yeah.
With 18 episodes as well, it's going to be fantastic.
Unless they've restructured that too, because that was back in
I hope not. I
2019.
really hope they.
Yeah. as much as like,
If they're going to
Daredevil's...
restructure it, so if they're going to restructure it, go to like 25 then, like a normal series that you have would. If you're going to restructure it, don't shrink it down.
The only reason...
Unless you do what Game of Thrones do, have 10 hours.
Yeah. I could see them doing 10. I think 25 would mean that the episodes would have to be like, like half an hour long.
Yeah.
So, I think if you do the 50 to an hour long episodes and you have 8 to 10 of them, I think that works perfectly for that. Just the Netflix one was between 8 and 10 too, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, script development and project cancellations are another problem going on there. And then
you see how many things that are mounted up like this. It's not good.
They need to have like a more logical plan for this overall saga that they've structured.
Well, when it originally come out, what was it? Maybe 2 films a year? Something like that? Maybe
you'd
3?
Get 2, maybe 3. I think phase 3 was when they started putting 3 a year, but before that it was 1 or 2.
Exactly, and it works fine. I know you're not pumping out as much, but still people's more anticipated to go and see them films. Even if like you have a Thor, like Dark World, the next one is still going to be quality. So
yeah, because I saw phase 4 altogether had more runtime than the entirety of the Infinity Saga.
No way.
Yeah. And the Infinity Saga was 10, 11 years of content. And you have 10 and 11 years of content packed into one phase. That's a huge problem.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
So next point, this is huge. The potential return of the original Avengers. So Marvel is considering bringing back the original Avengers, including Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, for a new movie. This makes sense from a business point of view. The fans clearly miss the old group of heroes. Like, I saw the reason why Captain America Brave New World was delayed is because when they were testing it with audiences, they're not connecting with Sam the same way they connected with Steve. So the only way to get people to see their movies is to bring the old group back at this point. And you still have Chris Hemsworth, you still have Jeremy Renner, you still have Mark Ruffalo, but you're missing Iron Man and Captain America, which are the 2 pillars of the MCU. So, like, you still have Captain America, but he's not Steve Rogers that people were used to.
Yeah, exactly like that. But this is what I'm saying, that, again, for the film-wise, Secret Wars, if you brought them all back for that, it makes sense. You'd have all the from the comics, similar to how it would be in the film like that. You'd have a whole like prime version of all these ones to go up against a load of like Kangs or baddies or something like that sort of thing. It would make sense film wise, but it's going to cost them an arm and a leg if they did that. And then people will be like, "Oh, you just brought them back," and this and the other. But it makes sense in the comic wise, because how many times has Iron Man died, Captain America died, and loads of them always being brought back. And that sort of thing. So it does make sense comic-wise, because that's what they do.
Yeah, but, like I have a point here where Robert Downey Jr. is inevitably going to win Best Supporting Actor for Oppenheimer at the Oscars. That's going to raise his price to get by a ton. Like, he was already expensive to get, but his price is going to go up.
Yeah, was it for... I think on the Red article, for the Endgame, he's like... worth was about 75 million, weren't it, just to do that film?
I wouldn't be surprised.
So if you're going to up it up again with him winning, because he's really good in that film, upping it up again, it's going to be like 125 million, stupid like that.
Yeah, like, I think that these actors are at the point where they're like, we've said goodbye to these characters. Like, our career needs to progress. We don't want to be tied to this franchise anymore. We've done our part. Like, I can't see Robert Downey Jr. wanting to return, like genuinely wanting to return, because he's said, like, since Oppenheimer came out, that being Iron Man limited his acting opportunities, like, to be a part of new projects, because he was tied to that franchise. So I can't see why he specifically would want to. I don't think Scarlett Johansson would come back, and Chris Evans has talked about coming back, but I'm not entirely sure if he would either. He said if the script is right, perhaps, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I've seen some, I think it was from Phase Zero, I think, where he had the interview with Loki, Tom Hiddleston. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh look, I've said goodbye twice already.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm going to say goodbye again or if they're going to come back or anything." So he's another one that's like, again, we'll talk about it with Loki, but it's like, is he done, or is he going to try and bring him back again just to keep the audience with us? I don't know.
Like, I'd still be super excited if they came back. Like, that would be
100%.
that would be awesome. But logically, I don't think they're gonna want to come back, and I can see why. Like, they're desperate at this point to get people to see their content again, because, like, the Marvels is an example of, like, no one saw that except us. Like, we're the only ones that saw that.
Yeah. Again, which just didn't justify it, but
yeah. So that's a huge problem for them, that the fact that an audience is tied to their original cast and they can't get people to like their new team, then I don't know what they do at that point.
no, exactly. Not unless you keep on adding like Easter eggs or have massive rumours about people who's going to come into the films like that. So
Yeah. The next point is future prospects and the Fox acquisition. So the acquisition of 21st Century Fox in 2019 brought new heroes like the X-Men and Fantastic Four under Marvel's control. I can't wait to see all of them come to the MCU.
it's so good.
It's going to be game-changing if they like fit them into, I guess, the Kang storyline, if they're still doing that, in Secret Wars. So we got Fantastic Four coming in 2025. That whole thing with casting has been weird lately. We can.
Are you seeing the new ones that been cast towards them?
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards.
yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I've seen pictures of old Reed Richards similar to him, but I don't know whether he'd fit the role.
He's a great actor. I just don't see him being Reed. Like, I can't see him in a room with a bunch of other people and talk about science. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy, in my opinion. I don't know why, but...
What? The first thing I saw when I saw he was linked to it would be, I think he'd probably a good Doom. Could see him being a Doom.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I did see... One I did see for Doom was Mads Mikkelsen, who is always an amazing villain in anything he does.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Doom's a really tricky one to nail. I have a couple names that I think would be really good Dooms.
Okay.
I think Henry
Like I said, I
Cavill.
like the original Doom from the original Fantasy Four. Oh, you're brilliant.
I wasn't a huge fan, but it was okay.
Nah.
But personally, I think Henry Cavill would be a really good Doom.
Oh, yes.
He's got the physicality for the role, and he was a really good villain in Mission Impossible Fallout. I think he would, like, and you can't, like, he's a good-looking guy. You can't, like, deny that. Like, before he gets all scarred and that, you'd say, like, oh yeah, he looks like Victor Von Doom. He's a, like, good-looking, like, billionaire. He gets around, and then he gets disfigured, and now he's wearing a mask all the time. So I think he would be a good pick. And Josh Hartnett, he's a more lesser known actor, but he was in Oppenheimer. He played a role in that. Do you know the show Black Mirror?
Oh, yeah.
There's an episode in the latest season where him and Aaron Paul are in space, and they have like a robot body on Earth that they can, like, bring their consciousness into to, you know, like,
control something.
Yeah, so watch that episode, and
Oh,
I
okay.
think that
You could
episode
fit.
proved, yeah, like that kind of nails the dynamic between a Reed and Doom stuck in space kind of
Okay.
dynamic. I think that'd be really cool. But
Well, it'll be interesting. Yeah, with that.
um, maybe we could do a Fantastic Four episode at some point.
Oh yeah, that'd be quite a good idea.
Um, so back to our article
Yeah,
talk.
yeah.
So the X-Men are coming too. We're gonna talk about that more later, but I'm really excited for that. Obviously, we had our X-Men stream a couple weeks ago, so you could check that out to see our thoughts
Yeah,
on what they
definitely.
could do for the MCU. So Marvel may be finding opportunities to reimagine the X-Men franchise in how they incorporate them into the MCU. Like, obviously, you can't replicate what they did in the Fox movies. They're gonna have to do something very different. But I think the reboot is really the only logical way to bring them into it, because
Yes.
back to what we said in the X-Men stream, you can't just say they sat around waiting like the Eternals. You can't do that, but for a team that big, like, unless you say mutants were created at the end of the Infinity Saga, and now they're starting to pop up with Miss Marvel and, like all the other ones that are coming into it. I think that's their second option. But the best option, in my opinion, is the reboot.
Yeah. I say what I was thinking. The best option to me, where they could have like introduced mutants and stuff like that, was the end of WandaVision. Just get her to say something on the line of what she did in the comics, where no more mutants, and then the
Yeah,
mutants started creeping back in again. That would have been best for me. Get her to say an iconic line similar to that, and then you see the mutants come back in, and all these genes are popping up like Miss Marvel and stuff like that sort of thing. And you could have it from that, but you can't just drop them in and just, like with the multiverse thing and having the Fox one having an incursion and then bring them across like that. That'd work.
it
Like they've
would,
just
yeah.
come from this different universe sort of thing, and now they're here. So that makes sense in my opinion. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The only thing with that is you have the old cast. Or I guess you could have your new cast. You just haven't seen them yet and you bring them into the main MCU. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah,
Um, but obviously with Deadpool 3, they're going to be bringing in the old cast, and they're obviously not going to last long because
no,
they're just cameos. Like, they're not going to be
yeah,
a part of the future of it.
yeah, of course, yeah,
The final point for this article I have are the concerns about Marvel's future. So, industry experts express concerns about Marvel's current challenges, but caution against prematurely writing off the studio. So, every franchise goes through a rough patch. This is just an example with them getting too excited with like the amount of toys they had that they could play with. They greenlit too much. They have too many setups that need follow-ups, and there's too many characters that are on the sidelines right now, like Shang-Chi. Up until now, we had Kate Bishop, but she popped up in the Marvels. You've got Moon Knight, who we have no idea what's going on with him. She-Hulk.
Black Knight from the Eternals.
That's a really big one. So they've
Like,
got
you
too
had
many.
literally had Blade talking to him.
Yeah, well,
You got the Eternals as well. Where they sodded off to?
yeah.
You
So
got bleeding. What's his name? Tithead is Thanos' brother or stepbrother.
Eros.
No, not Arrows. Star Fox, is it, or something like that?
Yeah, same thing, but Eros is
Oh,
the real.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, you
Um,
got him.
yeah.
What's happening with that? It's just
Like they've got too many. Like Phase 4 was an example of them setting up too much, and now they haven't been able to pay it off.
Yep, yep.
So they've
Like,
got
don't
too
even
much.
get me wrong. Started with the Skrulls. That
Yeah,
we'll talk about that in Miss Marvel because that really knocked me.
yeah. So they really need control on the structure of like following up with these characters they've introduced, and like bring back the like connective tissue that the Infinity Saga had, because so far the Multiverse Saga seems very random, so they need to kind of fix that.
Just a bit.
Yeah, so Kevin Feige is acknowledged for his track record, and the acquisition of Fox characters provides a potential avenue for revitalization. So this is something that he's been wanting forever since he started Marvel Studios, because like they didn't have those characters at the beginning to do, like the Infinity War story, the Ultron Civil War, Secret Invasion. So they didn't have any of that at the time. So again, for me, the reboot is really the only way to logically add them to this universe. And then, like go from there.
Well, you'd have me personally. When they do the reboot, you've got to have like an incursion level kabang, basically in that lot.
Yeah.
And then you can start trip feeding the newer versions and coming along, sort of thing. But in one way, the reboot can't come quick enough.
Yeah.
Because it just give it a massive clean slate, and then just go from there.
Yeah, I think because Secret Wars was like, this was a long time ago, but it was scheduled for 2026. I can't see how it comes out any earlier than 2028 now.
Yeah, you'll be talking by the end of the decade easily.
Yeah, so they've got a lot to do in the next 10 years. So yeah, that's all I had on the article.
I say you've literally point by point. I was ticking off because literally everything you were saying, I've been saying along with it. Because it's not good. It's not good at all now. That sort of thing.
I'm still a massive fan of the franchise. I always will be. But they need to sit back and they need to figure out what the heck is going on with what they're building up to, because they've gone ahead of themselves and doing too much. They need to figure out the whole Kang thing, and then just getting their audience back.
Yeah, exactly. Like with them doing one main project next year, that could be like a little reset for them to go, right, this is what we need to do again. Go back to the old ways where we only had 2 or 3 films. If you wanted to have the little projects spread out on Disney Plus, and then just carry on from that sort of thing. Don't just try and ram it all down the throat.
Yeah. So after that, I've got Loki season 2.
Yeah.
So since we last talked, the finale came out. So we can talk about that, and then just the season overall.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that was a really wild finale. That was really good. So Loki has now become the god of stories. He controls the entire multiverse and ensures stability between all the branches, taking over from He Who Remains. So I think for his character, that is really cool. How he started out as just the greedy brother of Thor who just wants to take over Asgard, to easily the most important character in the MCU right now.
He reminded me of a Watcher, basically.
Yeah. Sure.
Is he literally going to be that version's Watcher, looking into each timeline to see what's going off, sort of thing, and having the TVA at his disposal to look out for these kangaroos? Obviously you hear at the end of the episode, near the end of the episode, where they're talking about, there's a variant on 616, but it looks like they've sorted it, sort of. So, it's just so good.
Yeah. And I love the scene where he goes back to the season 1 finale. And He Who Remains stops Sylvie, and he's saying, I knew this was going to happen. The road that I paved, it's still going. You still walked on it, and it led you back here. Which is what I was talking about before with the time loops. He goes back to that moment. So
it's just when he stops him and just we had this conversation before, and then Loki sort of turns it on him and goes, yes, we have actually. And then he used it to, I think, stop Sylvie, didn't he? And then he was like, okay, just well played, sort of thing. And so that interaction between them was just...
Yeah, that might be a highlight of the season for me, was that interaction there. And He Who Remains gave him the ultimatum where he either lets him die in the inevitable multiversal war and the end of the multiverse happens, or he has to kill Sylvie. And he obviously doesn't want to kill Sylvie, so he does his own thing, and he takes all the branches with him into that void, and he becomes the god of stories.
That moment when he's walking out and all the things are ripping him off.
So
and
powerful.
Yeah, it was. It literally, I was just amazed and just did not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
And then when his horns are coming and
that was cool.
he finally gets his throne he wanted. He's wanted the throne for so long. It's just not the throne he wanted. It's so good.
It's the throne that fits him, though.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then when it turned to be the Tree of Life as well.
That was cool.
That was just a class moment, that was.
And that's a really smart way of showing the multiverse. It's a tree that has multiple branches, and it's always branching off. And we don't know if it was always like that, and now we see the perspective, because obviously that ties back to the mythology of the Thor characters. But that was really cool seeing that they tied it into the world tree.
It's just so good. And just see, I wanted to bawl my eyes out for him, because that last picture of all the strands around him, and he looks like he's going through that much emotions, like joy because he's fixed it all, but sad because he's gonna be on his own forever.
Well, he found that glorious purpose. Like, his purpose was to be the savior of the multiverse. As of now, we don't know if anything goes south from there, but so overall, it's one of Marvel's best productions ever. Like, Tom
100%.
Hiddleston is like amazing in this. He's an actor that needs to be in way more things. Like, he is so good in everything I've seen him in. And like,
when I was doing our reviews on the channel, I was speaking to the others, and how well Tom Hiddleston is. I'd be like, "There's your next Bond. Just get it to him."
Yeah, I could see that.
Could literally do anything. It's so good.
That would be cool. And Owen Wilson was amazing throughout everything too. Like, the dynamic between him and Loki. You go from even that moment too. He goes back to the very first episode, and they have that conversation in the interrogation room. Like,
when you're listening to him explain it all and a lot, and then realizing it's going to be Renslayer that did the deed, I was just like, just wanted to hug him. So how emotional that scene was as well. Like...
I wanted to ask you this. So when you see Renslayer, she wakes up in whatever you call that place.
The void, weren't it?
Yeah, right. So she wakes up, and you see that purple light coming towards her. What do you think that is?
I honestly ain't got a bleeding clue. I don't know whether she's watching like the end of series 1 where they get to stop it, and then they see where they go, where the end of time is, sort of thing, or if it is like that monster thing coming to eat her up. I literally haven't got a clue. That's another character where she's been left there and she's in limbo.
Yeah.
What's happening with her as well?
That was an initial thought I had too. I thought it was Eliath from season 1 that was going to eat her. That was like the cloud monster. But then I thought, wait, Loki and Sylvie destroyed it in season 1. So unless there's another one, that can't be what is after her. So I saw people online saying, oh, it's another Kang variant that went to see her. But I don't know what to think about that, because when you see it, there's like a roaring noise, there's a lot of wind, like it is a storm that was Eliath. So unless there's a completely different Kang variant that's like that, I don't see how that is Kang.
That's what I mean. That's why I thought when she sat there watching it, I didn't know whether she was actually watching the end of the first series where Loki and Sylvie stop it, and you just see it just goes up, and you can see the portal to the end of time.
Yeah.
So I didn't know whether she was rewatching that or what. It's just that did wind me up, because I was waiting more from her, especially when we had that chat as well. I was like, well, she's going to be big here, and then she's just that. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with her character, or if they just completely forget she's there.
Yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah.
You just assume, like, at that moment she's dead.
She's been eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done.
So my one nitpick with this season is that Sylvie didn't really do anything.
No.
Like-
She was, for me, she was like not a damsel in distress, but she was always there to.
She just stood
don't know,
around and
she-
complained the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just like, "Are you doing anything else?"
Yeah.
Just-
And I did see this could be a result because Michael Waldron, who wrote season 1 and who wrote Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that was an original character that he came up with in season 1. So because you had new writers in this season, they probably just took a
Didn't know
different
how to
approach
use
to
her.
her, and they didn't want to use her, so they just put her to the side a
makes
lot.
sense. But you still needed to. You couldn't just drop her at the end of the first series and not
No.
use her again for the second.
Like, people
just-
loved her in the first season, so you had to bring her
Exactly.
back, but
Yeah.
she didn't really do anything this season.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Would you go away?
so my last thing about the season, the big question, is Kang still the main threat?
Like I don't know whether it was just me trying to nitpick into stuff, but when you see him back at the Chicago Fair, there was not a book put through his window, was there?
No.
Because I
They
can't remember
didn't
seeing.
put the book there.
So exactly. So is that just literally saying, well, Kang's
Vic-
done now from that timeline, and Victor's going to be Victor in a different way?
Yeah, Victor's never going to become that scientist.
So it's like, is he done? Is he literally just going to have Kang? There's Loki, sorry. You hear the little bit from 616 where they've took care of their Kang.
Yeah.
So
That was the one from
I
Quantum Mania.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't got a clue. So it's like, for me, I do think that's it. Kang's just done dust with now, sort of thing. I can't see, with all these other rumours and things coming out, with the Kang Dynasty film, I do think, well, that's it. It's just done dusted, sort of thing. It's a bit of a shame because I would
Yeah.
like to see that cumulative thing come at the end of the film, at the end of the series, the phase.
Yeah.
But it's not looking positive for him.
Like,
But that's because of him, because he shot himself in the foot.
yeah. Like, it could go two ways. You either say this new multiverse that Loki revitalized brought, like, that many more Kang variants into that multiverse.
Yeah, maybe.
Or you just say he eliminated all of them altogether. Because the TVA is still tasked with hunting down those variants.
Yeah.
And obviously this was, again, before the whole Jonathan Majors thing. So this was going to set up way more variants coming into it. But now they could just say, oh yeah, between this project and this project, they got all of them. So he's no problem anymore.
Exactly. That's what I mean. But then with having that line with, the 616 has got rid of theirs. It's like, is that what's going to happen on all the other timelines? And they're just going to pick them off themselves? Or they're going to have to get the TVA to come in, just zap them away? I honestly ain't got a clue.
Yeah, like, we don't even know what to think of, like, the Council of Kangs that we saw at the end of Quantum Mania. Like, are they still around? Like, we have no idea anymore. And that was one of the, like, most exciting parts for me at the time. Was like, oh yeah, this is what's coming. Like, this is what I was shocked when I saw that. I didn't know they were gonna show that much, but I don't know how to get excited over this anymore with how uncertain it is.
No, exactly. Seeing all them cans coming out of them sort of portals like Mr. Fantastic sort of had.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, come on then, I can't wait for this now.
Yeah.
And then...
They're in a huge mess right now.
Yeah. The sooner this trial's sorted, and we know for definite, he's done all these things, he's a bad lad, and he's fucked himself, basically, then he'll be gone. But if it does come out to be proven that he's innocent again like he did with Johnny Depp, at least Disney haven't done what they did with Johnny Depp and just got rid of him, and now Johnny Depp wants a written apology for him to come back and play
Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow again. That's
Yeah.
it. So at least they're not put themselves in that sort of hole, but they're really cutting it close. because this trial could go on for months.
Yeah, like, and the fact it happened back in March and the trial is now in November, like, this is really slow. So they got to figure something out before it's too late and, like, people just disconnect from the entire thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, Loki season 2, really, really good. One of the highlights of Phase 5 so far, and just the MCU in general.
For me, for the Disney Plus series, bang on the top now.
Obviously the best one.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now on to the Marvels. Are we still good on time, by the way?
Yeah, we're all good. I've still got a good 20 odd minutes. Yeah, we're all good.
Okay. So we're gonna review the Marvels now. We talked about this a bit before, but I thought it was fun. There were a lot of cool action scenes. The fight choreography was really well done.
Oh,
with how they're like
really
switching
good.
places all the time. I thought that must have been a huge pain to plan out.
Oh yeah.
Like this person's
But the
doing
corrugation,
this.
Yeah, with them, it is the not corrugation.
Choreography.
The choreography, yeah, the choreography to do that, was just brilliant. That sort of thing. And it's like just bang, 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 bang.
Like
So
the scene where
So-
they're switching places at the beginning, that was really good.
Oh, I
And then
pissed myself laughing.
Kamala's like, wait, Captain Marvel was in my house? Like, I can't believe this. And then she switches, and then like they go back and forth. It was so good.
Yeah, it was like in the ship. Was it the ship? Was the like the lift where she keeps on getting swapped?
Yeah.
Which could fight with Nick Fury and that. Some of the things that I've heard have come out as well, where she's like she tried to like high five him or like fist bumping and stuff like that, and Samuel L. Jackson basically went to her, hit me, just hit me.
Yeah, I saw that. She's great. Like in all the interviews she's done since the movie came out, she's like dropped so many like just tidbits of information, and like she's so good.
But how she acted, obviously in the interviews with Samuel L. Jackson, but as Miss Marvel's Kamala Khan in the film, I'd be like that all day long. If I see Chris Evans and his Captain America coming towards me, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, she's like a national treasure for the MCU right now.
100%.
Yeah. So is it the best MCU movie? Not at all. For me.
No.
I still enjoyed it though. Like it was a fun time.
I see me. I absolutely loved it. As I was laughing so much through it, like with Goose and his babies, or running around that ship and I'll try and get them to eat people. Like it's just.
There was one guy that was sitting
Don't
behind
worry.
me that was freaking out over the cats.
Really?
Like, yeah. Before it even started, he was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see Goose come back and all the cats." And then throughout the entire scene, he's just laughing his ass off. And I'm like, dude, at a certain point, you have to shut up. Like, I get it, you're excited, but this is too much.
It's a good job you weren't in our screening because probably that bloke just pissing himself laughing. Honestly, I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and it was just. It's like the bit as well when they've all herded them into the ship and they're going down, and obviously they get sucked trying to the portal, but they come back again. And he's got the brother praying at the back. And he's like, "You're praying?" And it's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." I was like, "Don't stop, just keep going."
Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah.
But honestly, I absolutely adored this. I think I laughed more at this film than I thought I would, and I laughed more than I did to Guardians 3. I thought I'd laugh more at Guardians, some of the stuff that come out of that, but I laughed loads in this, and yeah, I could rate it high. Obviously, it's not in my top 10, but it's not bleeding far off, to be honest. So I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, like
She's got sod off soon.
a lot of people say it's the worst, but there's no way it's worse than Thor: Love and Thunder. Like that's the absolute worst one.
I'll give my bottom three. Thor: Love and Thunder, no good at all. Eternals did my sodding head in out there. And this will be a controversial one because I couldn't stand it. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Really?
No, cannot stand the film.
Wow.
I've never been to a Marvel film and fallen asleep. I went to see that twice and fell asleep twice.
Wow. Well, I can see how because it's very slow, but wow.
Yeah, honestly,
And the bottom
that's a
three.
massive controversy.
So
I've had loads of chats for that. I can't stand it. They're my three.
that means you have Thor: The Dark World above that, and Captain Marvel, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Wow.
And Ant-Man Quantumania.
Okay. I was not expecting
Honestly,
that.
honest to God, could not stand it. Will have a laugh and joke with Jack and Jason and the other guy on Marvel Mad. We always have a laugh and joke. Oh, it's better than Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. All of it, everything. We'll say everything's better than that because it is. Because I could not stand it at all.
I thought
Best
it
thing
was
about that was
really good.
Namor a bit.
Yeah. Namor was like the
That was
standout
it.
of that.
But yeah, no, I absolutely adored this film, and I'd gladly go and see it again because the end credit scene with obviously the X-Men coming in, seeing Beast at the end, I was just buzzing. The X-Men door as well, going on about oh Charles wants to see you, and then obviously when Kamala Khan's trying to recite them words with what Nick Fury says to Iron Man. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Saying
I think that was Iman Vellani who plays Kamala Khan, because she's such a huge fan of Iron Man. I think that was her going to Kevin Feige and saying, "Hey, can I do this? Because I really want to." And it was almost word for word exactly what Nick Fury said. She did tease that there were multiple characters that she was going to.
I've seen that.
But ultimately, they landed on Kate Bishop to be the one to show.
When she said about, oh, Ant-Man's got a daughter, I said, oh, there's status straight away in that lot. Statue, sorry.
Yeah.
You've got obviously Isaac's nephew that played Patriot.
Yeah.
Well, can play Patriot. So you got Patriot there and that lot. Honestly, I was like, yeah, come on. Oh, I was just buzzing, absolutely buzzing. So seeing that and then X-Men, I was tempted when I was going to go and see it. I was tempted to turn around to them and say, look, they are top 10 film, that brilliant.
Yeah, I think the setups were really cool in that. I was going to get into those, but the first thing I want to talk about was the singing planet.
Oh.
So I heard rumors about this being in the movie a long time ago, and I thought that would be like, why the heck are they doing this? Like, this is the most random thing for them to do at this point. And then the scene began, the singing happens, and in my head I was just like, oh no, the rumors were true. And then the whole scene happened. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, it was fun, but I was like, this is like a huge, like, turn your brain off moment for watching the movie where you just have to accept it's happening. And then there was like the whole like Disney princess effect on Carol when she was changing like into her dress and then back into her normal clothes. I just thought the whole scene was so random.
For me, I loved it. I was literally a kid. I was like, to see them there having a drink and having a laugh. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I did.
I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. Overall, I think this movie was way better than Captain Marvel, because that was a huge
massively,
disappointment for me.
100%.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's
it was,
like in my
it
bottom
was good,
three.
But really?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's not because I
Go on,
hate her.
I've
Like, she's a really good character. It's the way they did the Skrulls. I had a huge problem with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the point I needed to tell you. You could have literally had Secret Invasion never happen.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't even know it from Nick Fury. He's joking all the time, and he was so serious in Secret Invasion, so it's like two different characters. And I was like...
exactly.
What? Like, is there no connection? Like, does this take place before Secret Invasion? Like, what's going on?
Well, no, obviously, then you see later on going to the like refugee planet sort of thing. Where
but they don't even, like, acknowledge anything that happened with Nick Fury.
No, not at all. That really pissed me off. Because it's like, you've got, like, a big, massive thing that's just happened, and you just blow it over.
In the scene when the Skrull and the Kree are meeting in that room, and you see the Skrull with the crown, I was like, oh my god, it's the Skrull Emperor from Secret Invasion. Like, the comic. Like, they're gonna do this properly.
Yeah.
And then, nope.
Nothing.
Also, that Valkyrie cameo.
That was a bit random.
That didn't need to be in it at all. Like, she was only there to take the Skrulls to New Asgard, and, like, next time you're going to see them, there's just going to be Skrulls walking around in New Asgard?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I did read somewhere that, is that going to be like a love interest for
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Initially,
A lot. It's like,
initially they had a line where it was like, "We work better as work friends" or something like that between Valkyrie
oh,
and
right, okay.
Carol. I don't know if that was the exact quote, but it was something like that.
I'm not too sure. I've not seen that myself. But yeah, it was just like, nah, it didn't need that. It was just, there you are. Here's another. This is your like cameo that you're all expecting. Just throw
Yeah,
that in there.
like that was a secret until that last trailer where they literally just said, "We want people to see this movie. We're gonna put her in the trailer," and she was in it for 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come and take you. Don't worry. Nice little place. Lovely plot of land for you. It'll be alright.
Yeah. The other thing, the villain, she was very forgettable. Like
Yes.
one of my least favorite villains in the MCU.
Yeah.
The one that
yeah.
plays her is actually Tom Hiddleston's partner.
I never knew that. I didn't know that until after I'd seen the film. And I was like, oh, pissing hell, yeah, look at that.
So you
And
have
he was
Tom
really proud
Hiddleston.
of her. Bless him.
Yeah. So you have Tom Hiddleston, who is easily like one of the greatest villains in the MCU, and you have her who's like down here, and it's like
Yeah.
it's sad, but it's like she wasn't a great villain in it. Like she's one of the least
No.
impactful that they've done. So
Yeah. I say, again, you can sympathise with her.
yeah,
But it's just like we said on our review of the episode, the film, sorry. She was just very like, she was there, had a bit of a fight, was done. It wasn't as impacting as you'd think she'd be,
yeah.
but she was alright.
And her death was so quick too. Like
Yeah.
when her and
Yeah.
Carol fly out into space, and then she just disintegrates. Like that was so easy.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you just lift her up and just, they are done.
Yeah, like they could have done that at the beginning, but they didn't.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
X-Men. So we got Beast. He looks just like the X-Men animated series design, which is awesome. He's got the two little teeth poking out at the bottom. He's wearing the lab coat and the glasses. I thought that's Hank McCoy right there. That's him.
Yeah.
That looks so good. And I heard about this cameo a while ago.
No,
But
so I didn't.
it was
I was totally shocked.
I was still shocked too that they went with that design, because I thought it was going to be like the X-Men Last Stand where he was like, actually in the practical makeup, but this was like a full-on like CGI Beast, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about it, but I thought he looked really good.
Really? People complain about that?
Yeah, they're saying he looks like Hulk and She-Hulk.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, people just
Not a
find
chance.
the littlest things to complain about.
They will. They're just trying to beat this film with a stick, and it does not deserve. Oh, I'll be done in like 5 minutes. It does not deserve this. It didn't deserve the box office drop. It didn't deserve all the crap it's getting. It should have been full. It should have been an absolute massive film. And I don't know whether as well that when the writer's strike and the actor's strike had happened, that didn't help this.
Yeah, when you have no one to
really
promote it, then you don't have anyone wanting to see it. And I think the marketing, like the first trailer, was notorious because everyone hated it, apparently.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why, because I thought it was fine.
it's not their best trailer in my opinion, but it's alright.
No.
But yeah, when you don't have your audience right from the first trailer, then that's not good.
No, exactly. It didn't deserve this.
Yeah. Back to X-Men. So Deadpool 3 is bringing them into the MCU. Do you think he's bringing the literal like live action adaptations of the animated series characters, or is he doing his own thing? Because obviously we get Wolverine in the yellow and blue. We get Professor X in Multiverse of Madness in the yellow chair, and we get Beast in this. Is 838 the universe where the X-Men animated series takes place?
I'd say so. Myself, I think so, because they've done too much now that links it to that sort of thing. If you get me, you can't be saying they're going to have the ones from the old films, even though it's going to be probably them actors.
Yeah.
It's not going to come across as them sort of thing. It's going to be that different adaptation. but
Yeah.
I loved it.
Because when he says
I'll be
Charles
well
is
up for
waiting
that.
for her, Charles on 838 died from Scarlet Witch. So that's another
Oh
question.
shit! Yeah.
That's another question I have, where is this something very similar to 838, or is this actually 838 and Charles, like found a way to come back? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that, to be honest. Yeah.
So, lots of X-Men are coming soon, and this is the first, like, real, like, big push to them coming, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then you have Binary, who was identical to Maria Rambeau, but isn't Maria Rambeau. She had no idea who Monica was when she woke up. So I think maybe Binary is the Captain Marvel that we saw in Multiverse of Madness from 838. Because you see that thing in her head. She's got like some metal, like implants. And she was crushed by that statue in the fight with Scarlet Witch. So maybe she survived and she's been, like enhanced in some way.
Adapted.
Yeah. So then she
think of
becomes
that.
Binary out of that, but I don't know. In the comics, Binary is a clone of Carol Danvers. So I'm curious to see if they make her like an actual mutant in the MCU, and Lashana Lynch is going to play that character for who knows how long they're going to use her.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting how like they keep bringing her back because she was in flashbacks earlier in the movie when she's old, talking to Carol about her cancer coming back, and then she comes back at the end of this as a completely new hero who could play an impact going forward.
It seems like with always bringing her back, she can have a bigger role. So they won't bring her out for a reason. I can see her coming in Deadpool's film.
Yeah, I could see that too. And then obviously the big X door at the end too. That alone was like enough. Just seeing a door that has an X on it is enough to get me hyped about X-Men. Like,
yeah,
so
100%. Honestly, when that bit happened, it's a good job nobody was sat in front of me because I was just going, banging that chair sort of right on. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
Yeah. So overall, the Marvels, I had a fun time with it. A lot more people definitely need to see it, but it's interesting to see where they go from here.
Oh yeah, 100%, and yeah, I can't rave about it enough. I tell loads of people to go and watch it because it's just brilliant. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. So that's all I've had.
Yeah, well, so I'll have to leave it here because I'll miss me finishing school soon. I need to go in, and I've got a load of phone calls to now make because everybody wants me when I'm pissing on live. I sound it. But yeah, I'd say thank you very much. We got 2 viewers, so thank you very much both of you for coming in and just join us, chat about Marvel. We'll hopefully have another live stream next week talking all things Spider-Man 2. Because that is going to be
exciting.
It's going to be a good chat, that is. But yes, so let's say thank you very much again. Thanks, Nate and Thwip Media for coming across and helping us out with the live stream and all things Marvel as always. Brilliant to have you on again, my friend. Thank you very much.
Yep, no problem, and make sure to check out my Spider-Man 2 review on my channel as well. I put that out last week.
100%.
That'll be like a tease of what I'm going to be talking about next week. But yeah, thank you to anyone that joined.
Yeah, 100%. Check out. We've got the Hell in a Cell match that's just come out last week, and we'll also have a War Games match of. I'll give you a tease now of what happens if Civil War was decided inside War Games. We'll check it out in the end of the week.
Sounds cool.
But yeah, it's brilliant, honestly. So funny. But yes, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again. Thanks a lot.